Good morning and welcome to PhotoJoseph's Photo Moment, the first live daily photo show on YouTube every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. Pacific. Or as Ryan set up this show to start at 10, but we started it early, so hopefully people are actually going to be here, but I blame Ryan completely. Let's see who's here. Good morning, John Morby. I am live and alive. Bart Johnson, hello. Marvin, Curdy, all the regulars. Excellent, good to see you today. So as you may have undoubtedly guessed, we are in the studio. We're not out and about today. I can see that Ryan is desperately trying to learn how to use the punch into the shot on the Mevo. So when you see things like my forehead cropped off or the Chinese painting on the wall or something, that just blame him. So today, I had an idea of what I wanted to do today. I'm totally wired today, which is really annoying, but there's a reason for that. I had an idea of what I wanted to do with my Spark. And I was setting it up last night and it ended up not working. And I thought I would take you through what it was I was trying to achieve and tell you why it didn't work and see if maybe together we can figure out a way to make this work. Because I know there's some people out there, Jake, who know a lot more about audio than I do. And maybe, who knows, we'll come up with a solution. So let's see here. Before we actually get started on that, let's see what else is going on in the chat. I should put this over here so I can actually see it. And what happened to Spark Friday? Well, this is Spark Friday, John. This is, sort of. We're talking about the Spark, but we're doing it through the Mevo. How's that for meta? All right, that's the kind of show that we run around here. That's our kind of operation. I even left the propellers off so I can't accidentally take off inside the studio today. Which, I gotta tell you, Ryan's trying to convince me that I should set up an obstacle course in the studio and fly this thing around. I'm going, dude, not until I got propeller guards and a proper remote control for this thing, because I don't do it, he says, do it. No, I don't want to kill it. All right, so here's the challenge. Got so much crap here to tell this story. Let me see if I can get these. Okay. So last Friday, remember I did the live show from the Spark and I was out in the field and it was great, right? Everything worked perfect except that the audio was out of sync. And I knew that. I knew going into it the audio was out of sync. And I thought that I had a way to fix that. So let me explain why it was out of sync in the first place. So the audio, unfortunately, I don't have my iPhone because Ryan's using it to control this, but normally the Spark connects, so the drone connects to the iPhone and that's how you control the Spark, right? And from the iPhone, you can stream directly from that, which would actually have make things easier, except you don't get the quality. It only streams out 720. It's streaming out, not the interface, but just the image from the drone. So that's cool, but that's not what I wanted, right? I wanted to show the whole drone interface. So the way that I do that is I take my iPhone and I connect that to here we go. I connect the iPhone to the Lightning to HDMI adapter, right? And then I can actually power it while we're doing this, which is great. So keep the iPhone topped up on power. And then HDMI out. So HDMI would go to, Ryan, stop breaking things. Would go to, where's my HDMI cable? I had one, here it is. So what I would do is I would take the iPhone on this end, so iPhone here, HDMI cable into the Teradek VidiU. And this is what I did last time. Now the problem right now is that the audio that you would hear at this point would be coming just from the iPhone's microphone, which we all know sucks. And so I wouldn't have that good quality audio. It'd be in sync, so maybe it would be fine, but it wouldn't be good quality. So what I want to do is, of course, use a proper lav microphone, whether it's wired or wireless, whatever, it doesn't matter. But I want a proper lav microphone. That's what I want. There's no way for me to route the microphone into the iPhone while it's connected to this, because some genius at Apple thought that it would be a good idea to get rid of the headphone port. So I only have one Lightning port on the iPhone, which means I can do either HDMI out or I can do audio in, but I can't do both. Seriously, Apple, we got to talk about this. So I can't route the audio through the iPhone. So I have to route the audio through something else. In this case, that would be straight into the VidiU, because the VidiU has an analog input. And you might also remember last time the problem we had is I was trying to do the wired mic directly into here, but that didn't work because this apparently does not put any power out on the microphone port, which after the show I realized I had actually already discovered that before and run through a whole thing with it. Oops, forgot about that. Anyway, so it didn't, but once I put a powered mic on there, it worked and that was fine. But it was out of sync. Okay, so the problem, the reason that it's out of sync is simply because the audio is coming in real time, yet the video is delayed. Understandably, the video is significantly delayed because the video is going from the Spark, which is hovering up in the air somewhere, down to my iPhone, converted into HDMI, and then routed into here. And it's about 21 frames delayed, about 2/3 of a second delayed. Okay, that's totally normal. Expected to be that way. what I need is a way to delay the audio, push the audio forward 21 frames, delay it 21 frames so that I can sync it up with the video. The VidiU does not have that audio delay capability built into it. Darn. Okay, so then I got to thinking, and I remembered, you know what? The Atomos Ninja Assassin, and the Inferno obviously, have audio delay built in. I can route analog audio into this, bring in HDMI video, and then go into the settings and I can adjust the delay. Yes, this is perfect, because then this also has an HDMI out, which I can then feed the HDMI out from this into the VidiU, and everything would be good, right? That was the theory. So last night I go to configure the audio delay on here. Now here's a little side story. This is actually really cool. It wasn't working. I was programming in the delay and it wasn't working. I didn't know what the delay was yet. So I found a video on YouTube. I'm not going to look it up, but I found this video on YouTube that's basically for syncing test. It's a spinning kind of a clock, and it's like handles on a spinner, and there's a 0 frame and then 1 frame, 2 frame, 3 frame delayed, and the thing spins, and every time it goes at the 0, it goes beep, beep, beep. So you put that on camera, you just shoot your iPad screen, or laptop screen, whatever, and then you can measure on a timeline the difference. Really neat, right? So I've got the Spark connected, obviously wirelessly, to the phone, pumping into the Atomos, hit record on here, and then go into the settings and start adjusting the audio delay. 1 frame, I did it like 5 frames, then 10 frames, 15, 20, and so on. Then take that clip into the computer, look at it, and try and see which one's right. But it wasn't slipping. I just could not figure out why it wasn't slipping. No matter what I set it to, it wasn't changing. So I called up tech support, and first they said, well, why don't you flash the ROM, or flash the firmware, give it a new firmware update. It needed a firmware update anyway, see if that fixed it. That didn't fix it. Tried a couple different things, and then I finally realized that you have to make the change. This is a good Atomos tip. You have to make the change to your audio delay and then hit record. You can't be recording and then change the delay. It won't work. And every time I ran the test, I was starting at 0 frame delay and then moving up from there, so every test was coming out the same with no change to the delay, always at 0 frames, so my 21 frames off. So once I figured that out, okay, great, I have to set it up first and then hit record. I set it to 21 since I already measured that, did it, and it worked perfectly. It's perfectly synced. Yes, all right, so we're good. So now HDMI out from here into the VidiU, and it didn't work. And before I tell you why it didn't work, I'm gonna look at the comments. What's going on over here? All right, let's see what's happening here. Do it. Oh, Marvin's saying do it. I already know what he's saying do it to. He wants me to fly my Spark around and destroy it. Why would you do that to me? I love my Spark. Kevin Wright says it's a fabulous day. I have no idea. Oh, fabulous day, your cage arrived. Oh, very cool. You have to tell us all about it. John Warby says the new iPad Pro still has a headphone socket. Yes, this is true. Can I drive it all from the iPad Pro instead? Holding the iPad, basically I'd be doing this to control the Spark. Seems like a bad idea. It's too big of a device. Maybe I still have an iPad mini. I might be able to use that, and that wouldn't be too, but I like, the size of the screen. So it might work with the iPad mini because it does have the headphone port. So technically, yes, that should work. What? Oh, I do have an old 6 laying around. Wait, the 6 still has a headphone port. That's true. I do have a 6 as my old demo unit. I might try that. I'm trying to use, modern current tech. But that's a good point. That is a good point. I know, yeah, you're right. I do have that 6. I forgot about that. It's my old demo unit that's just sitting there. Okay, well, I'll try that out. John says, oh, that's what he said. There we go. Beardy Face, good evening to you. Bart Johnson says, do you know what the audio delay over HDMI is for the GH5? Can you post a link to that sync video? Okay, sure. I will post a link to the sync video. I'll link that down below. Ryan, don't let me forget. He can't take notes now because he's actually controlling the camera. But I'll try and remember to do that. If I forget, someone just yell at me in the comments and I'll do it. The delay of the HDMI, I haven't measured it yet. It appears to be less than the GH4 was. Very close to real time, but still not real time. I think the GH4 we determined was 4 frame delay. I'm gonna guess the GH5 is 2 because it is noticeably less, but I don't know. I haven't tested it, so sorry. Okay. So why didn't this work? It didn't work because the HDMI out does not marry analog audio with the digital video and push it out the HDMI port. It records it, but it doesn't put it out the HDMI port. So alas, there's nothing I could do. So that didn't work. So the funny part of the story is I'm talking to Atomos tech support, which, by the way, top-notch tech support. Call them on the phone, press 2 for tech support, and you get a human being every time. Awesome. Thank you, Atomos. And they're in Portland, I do believe, the U.S. office. And so I'm talking to the guy, and I'm explaining what I'm doing. And he goes, oh, are you trying to connect a 5D Mark III? Because we've had issues with the audio delay. And I said, no, I'm doing something really weird. And I explained the whole setup to him with the Spark and everything. He's like, oh, that's really cool. What are you doing it for? I said, oh, I do this live show, PhotoJoseph's Photo Moment. He goes, I know that show. I watch it sometimes. Yeah, how cool is that? A tech support guy at Atomos watching my show. I love it. So thank you. Thank you for watching. Anyway, so that's why it didn't work. So now I'm stuck. I don't have a way to make this work. Now, I know that you can delay audio with hardware, right? So if I had a mixer, I could, there's some mixers that have audio delay built into them. But I'm trying to do this out in the field, run and gun. I don't need things that have to be plugged into a wall. And I'd really rather not have to buy more hardware. I did a little Google search. There are some $99 boxes that do audio delay, but I mean, I don't want to spend $100 on this. And I don't know if any of them are even battery operated. Probably not, because they're designed to be used in a studio environment. So why would they be? So I'm kind of stuck. I don't know how to delay the audio going into the VidiU. Now, there is another possibility. I was playing around, I was looking around on the VidiU website, and there's this app they have called Live Air. And I started to try to play with it this morning. I didn't get very far, but it allows you, and I'm going to have to really look into this, it allows you to do multi-camera switching on the iPad through VidiUs. And I think it's for multiple VidiUs, but I think you can also bring in other video sources. I don't know. But it might actually allow me to do some much more advanced live broadcasts on the road, which would be really cool. So I'm gonna be playing with that. But I fired up my iPhone's VidiU app to connect to my VidiU so I could connect it to Live Air, and the VidiU app has been updated. It's a whole new interface, and it needs a login for my VidiU. I've never used a login on my hardware. We're talking about the hardware. It wants me to log into the hardware, and I couldn't, so I'm totally locked out of my VidiU Pro right now. So another email to their tech support to figure that one out. So I don't know. I thought that might be a solution. But frankly, the easiest thing probably is going to be to use the iPhone 6 that I have that does have a headphone port on it, or the iPad mini, which has a headphone port. That's probably going to be the easiest solution. So if you have an idea, you, my audience, have an idea of how to delay audio going into any device, in this case it'd be going into the VidiU, but it doesn't really matter. Delay audio while in the field, not through a big heavy-duty mixer that has to be plugged into a wall, but something small, lightweight, portable, preferably cheap, because I don't want to spend the money, that would be fantastic. Or just some other neat tricks. I want to know. Tell me what you think. So there we go. That's it. Let's see what else is going on in the comments. And then we are going to step here, zoom out on this thing. We are going to spend the rest of today putting this disaster back together. That's the objective for today. So let's see what's going on in the comments, and then we're going to bail out of here. Marvin says, tell Apple to put the headphone jack back, like that'll ever happen. Well, I just tried, and we'll see if they're watching. Yeah, I'm sure that Tim watches all of my shows, right? And he really cares what I think. John Warby says, I finally bought earpods. They're great until they just drop the audio for no reason. I've heard that. I was thinking about buying some because they actually do stay in my ear reasonably well, which really surprised me. But then I hear about these audio drop problems. Well, I'm spending $160 or whatever it is on headphones that don't work. This is ridiculous. Oh, well. Anything else? Nothing else in here. My Vlog DE says, hi from Germany. Nice studio. Thank you very much. It's a bit of a mess, but we're going to fix that today. Okay, that's it. Shall we clean up this disaster? Let's clean up this disaster. Thanks a lot, everybody. See you guys back here on Monday. I don't know, maybe Monday we'll get into, because I've got a couple other things. Oh, yeah, a couple things to play with. So we've got the Webcaster X2, so I got to play with that next week. I did get a replacement Lumu Power. So my plan originally was to play with that today, but we'll see if I get to, because this really has got to take priority. But I got the replacement for that, so hopefully that one works. They did email me that they found anomalies with the ones that I sent to them. They didn't have their full testing equipment to see if it was as off as I was showing. They just showed some weird anomalies. So that's good. It means there was something off about my unit, so hopefully the new unit that they sent me is cool and works. I feel like there's something else we were going to do next week that I wanted to... Oh, I've got the show with the photographer who does the Aurora Borealis, and we're going to talk eclipse. That's on Wednesday. We've got a lot of good stuff coming up next week. It's going to be a good week. So come back then. We'll see you then. Take care. Bye-bye.